Hello everybody, welcome to Badlands Ballistics. I'm Chris. We're going to be doing some 9mm load testing today. So the video is going to be just a little bit longer than what I normally like them to be, but kind of got a lot of information to go over today. So we'll talk about the bullet first. It's a Sierra 115 grain jacketed hollow point. And we kind of joke that this is a flying shot glass. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's got a massive hollow point. You know, by I think anybody's standard, Sierra is a bullet, great bullet company. You know, that's definitely top of the line bullets in anybody's view, I would say, at least for my experience it has been. So, interesting thing about these bullets, I found a local guy, and I don't know what his story is. He's a pretty private guy, but he sells a ton of reloading components just out of his house. He's a retired guy, so he had these Sierra bullets in boxes of 1,800 and in a bulk form. I tried to find them on the internet and I really couldn't find them. So I don't know where his supplier is for him, but I'm almost ashamed to tell you how many boxes I've bought, so I guess I won't tell you. But I wanted to develop a load for these just to see. I've shot a lot of unique powder out of the 9mm, and we'll talk about powder for just a minute. But before we get into the details of what we're doing today, I'm going to take a minute and just ask you guys to please subscribe. We've experienced some great growth in the channel, and it's thanks to you guys. So for the ones that are watching that have subscribed, thank you. And if you haven't yet, please take a minute and do so and give me a thumbs up. So anyway, let's get into it. So the powder I'm using today is Tight Group. So let's talk powders for just a minute. So anybody in the reloading world is going to tell you Unique is probably the most versatile powder we have available, and I don't think I can disagree with that. So let's talk about the pros and cons of it. So my other loads have been with Unique. I've been pretty much exclusive Unique with the 9mm, and today I'm trying Tight Group, and I'll tell you why. So Unique fills this case very well. You cannot do a double charge, so that's a positive thing, right? So I'm loading on a Dillon 650 auto indexing. So when this puppy is sliding around the stations, it's fairly abrupt, and what happens is the case is so full it spills. Not every time, not very much, but I mean I can load a couple hundred rounds and my shell plate on that Dillon machine is covered with gunpowder. So I thought, well, let's try the Tight Group. Tight Group is famous for having small volumetric amounts and getting great performance. So I just did a small number of these in Tight Group with Tight Group, and I'm really curious on the performance. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna chronograph it. I'm gonna just chronograph it out of one gun. If I got it loaded right, the book is telling me around 1150. So we'll see how it goes. But another thing I want to talk about on these bullets, if a guy gets interested in these, so I'm gonna hold this up the best I can so you guys can see. So here's my pointer, right? So this part of the shoulder is a little bit more forward than some of the other bullets I have. And so what happened is I actually had to seat this bullet, I'm gonna say relatively deep into the case to get it to cycle. The Taurus TH9, we're gonna be using that today. It's got a very tight chamber for whatever reason. When I put it, and when you look at a book for overall length, like I was using a old Hornady book, and the overall length on 9mm varies quite a bit. And when I first started, I was within the range, and the TH9 Taurus slide would not close. So I kept going deeper and deeper, kind of watching, measuring toward the slide to close, checked in all my other guns, it closed. So, but what it is this shoulder is, like I say, this part of the bullet to the shoulder is quite a bit shorter than on some of the others. So you think about this, if this shoulder angle came down further, then the overall length would be different. So just tell you, if you load these bullets, just be aware that I think your overall length will be a little shorter than on some of the others. So, all right, let's talk about the guns we're gonna use today. Okay, I got 4 guns out here. Here's the CZ75. You guys know this is one of my favorites. The CZ75, in my opinion, is the gun will shoot almost any bullet you put in it accurately. I am not sure, me personally, have ever found a bullet that I'm gonna say is unsatisfactory in this. This guy will just shoot whatever you put in it. This is probably one of my favorite 9mm. Phenomenal gun. I've had this old G2 for a long time. This was my first Taurus I ever bought. This guy is surprisingly accurate. It too will shoot just about anything pretty reasonable. This, of course, is quite a bit smaller gun than some of these full size. This guy's a one of the mid-size SIG 320s, also a great gun. What I've noticed about the 320 has been my experience is it doesn't like the plated bullets well, and I haven't done a lot of time with it. A premium jacket off hollow point. I've shot some fantastic groups with these SIG 320s. Between me and my son, I'm not even sure how many we have, multiple. Great gun. And this pretty new addition to the arsenal here, this is the Taurus TH9. My limited experience with this guy, fantastic gun. I really like this Taurus TH9. So that gives us a pretty good variety of what we're going to do today. I'm going to shoot the CZ75 to do the chronograph test to begin with. So that's what we'll do next. All right, got the CZ75 loaded with 3 rounds. We're just going to shoot 3. I'm going to guess maybe 6 or 8 yards from the bench, and we'll see what the chronograph says. We're hoping for around 1150. It might be plus or minus 50 feet. I don't think it'll be more than that, but anyway, that's why we're going to do the test. So here we go. Okay guys, well, that's what we got. 1241, 1218, 1220, 1226 average. That is quite a bit higher than I actually expected. You know, we talked about the bullet seating. I don't know, I'm not sure on this. We'll have to keep doing some more testing. All right guys, that was certainly interesting about those velocities. Like I say, higher than what I thought. And I truly believe, you know, if we knew everything on this kind of stuff, we'd know that the pressure was slightly higher. I checked all the primers. I don't think we're seeing any signs of high pressure. I just think with that bullet seated slightly deeper, we're gaining just a little bit of pressure, gaining a little bit more velocity. I'm certainly okay with it, but something I'm concerned about is, so the gun's empty, no mag, chamber's clear. What's happened is there was a couple of times during those velocity tests that the slide would only close like that far. So then I would just bump it and then close all the way. That's what it was doing in the Taurus. When I was developing this load, I just loaded like 3 or 4, went to cycle it, and it was tight that way. What that tells me is that shoulder's too far forward and probably touching to the barrel riflings or something like that. There again, causing some high pressure. I've got just a handful here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do some accuracy tests. If I have any more functioning issues, man, I might have to revisit it. That's why I've only loaded a small handful here. I don't know how many I have, 20, 30, something like that. But, and the gun's probably super dirty. Can't even tell you the last time I cleaned it. Maybe they're a little tight. I'm not sure. Concerned. You guys know, if you guys watch the channel at all, if it doesn't function 100%, then we're going back to the drawing board. So I'm not convinced we're at that point yet. Let's go ahead and shoot. I'm gonna shoot the CZ first. I'm not gonna stop and talk in between. So I'm gonna do the CZ first, the Taurus TH9, the Taurus G2, CZ3 or the SIG 320, and then we'll go look at the target. So let's get to shooting. Okay guys, this is what I was talking about. I'm gonna show you. See how that slide's not closed all the way? Hopefully you guys can see it. Right here. I just pushed it with my thumb and it went forward. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think we might have a problem. I'm gonna follow through the test though the rest of the day and see. But yeah, I'm afraid there's a problem with that load. Same issue with the Taurus. All right, guys, I'm not going to shoot that one anymore. Maybe I'll try the D2 and the CZ. I mean, excuse me, the SIG. Functioning good in the G2. This is the SIG 320. Functioning good in the SIG 320. All right, guys, we're gonna have a look at the target. I'm real curious. probably not going to do any more. Probably not going to do any more with these loads, just because 2 of the 4 guns won't cycle them. So let's go look at the target, and then we'll talk about a resolution here. Okay, here we go. So this first target is the CZ75. Pretty nice group. It's about 1.5 inches on that guy. Yeah, pretty hard to ask for anything better than that. Taurus TH9 doesn't matter. We shot 1. That was it. Taurus G2, we shot 3. I don't know if this was me, but its point of impact super low. Yeah, the G2 didn't like it. You know, I didn't. What is that, 6-7 inch group? Yeah, not great. SIG 320 on the other hand, I'm gonna call that acceptable. That's about a 3-inch group. Hopefully you guys see that. Not bad. Good point of impact. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, all right, let's go back. We'll talk about the resolution here. Okay, so this is why we do testing, right? You know, I've got literally, I don't know how many boxes of 1800 on these, and I've got enough empty cases to load all of those. So I need to really do my due diligence on the testing on this. So I got 2 of my 4 guns that will shoot them reasonable, or function with them reasonable. And I mean, the 320, you know, it functioned good and shot good, but man, it's just, we got to do better than that. So I'll tell you my resolution. I'm going to drop the powder charge at least 1/10 of a grain. I might even go 2/10 of a grain. And I'm going to seat that bullet. And the way I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to do this because YouTube's, I mean, I've had a couple warnings from YouTube on reloading and bullet casting and things, so I probably won't show any of this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go drop the charge 2 grains of tight group, and then I'm going to seat that bullet. And I think the bullet seat depth is causing my issue, because when I first started, it was 100 thousandths longer than what it is now. And that Taurus TH9, I mean, it wouldn't even close. It wouldn't even come close to closing. So I just kept dropping the overall cartridge length until the TH9 closed. But of course, we've seen some problems with it today, so I just feel like I haven't quite gone enough, which is quite a bit shorter than what I would normally think it would work. So let's talk about overall length and pressure. So I've got a handful here, 30 something, or I don't know. What if I went through and just seated them bullets down another 50 thousandths? My fear is that's going to raise the pressure. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just, after the video's over, I'll set the camera up, but I'm going to dump this whole load. I don't want to get these mixed up into something that won't function, you know? So that's the thing to think about on that, is that overall length. If I just say dropped it 50 or 100 thousandths, which is quite a bit, and I think that's where I'm going to need to be to get them to function correctly, pressure will go up. So I'm going to drop it 2/10 of a grain. So anyway, we're gonna wrap the video up. I'm just gonna end with dumping some mags downrange and get rid of these. Essentially, just shoot them up. They'll function good in those 2 guns. I'll just load that SIG 320 up, and we're just gonna hammer the steel with it. So thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe. If you're interested in agricultural content, I've got a second channel called 10 Cow Ranch. We don't do any gun reviews, any of that type of stuff. It's all agriculture, cows, horses, tractors. You know, of course, agricultural today is farming, construction, welding, all that type of stuff. We're gonna have quite a bit of different content on the other channel. We're just getting it rolling right now. So please, if you're watching this, take a minute, help me out. Jump over to that other channel and subscribe. So thanks again, everybody. Have a good night.